Welcome back to my channel. I'm Heather Corinne, and today we're going to be crocheting these mini no-sew gingerbread men. This video is designed as a visual tool to go along with the written pattern, so please reference that below in the description box. We're going to be using worsted weight yarn, some white embroidery floss, a size G or 4mm crochet hook, some 8mm safety eyes, a yarn needle, some stuffing, some stitch markers, and some scissors. To begin, we're going to create a magic circle. We're going to place 6 single crochet in the magic circle. And then pull the magic circle tight, and that'll be a total of 6 stitches for round 1. For round 2, we're going to increase in each stitch around, so that's going to be 2 single crochet in each stitch around. At the beginning of every round, I'm going to put a stitch marker in the first stitch so we can keep our place. So that's going to be 12 stitches for round 2. For round 3, we're going to increase in the first stitch. And then single crochet in the next stitch, and we're going to repeat that all the way around. Increase, and then 1 single crochet in the next stitch. So we'll just continue on like this until we get to the last stitch in this round, where we're going to be switching to white. So now we're at the last stitch of round 3, which would be the 18th stitch. We're going to pull up a loop with the brown and then pull through both loops with the new color. For round 4, we're going to single crochet in each stitch around using white yarn. I'm not going to use the stitch marker because I can clearly see where we started this round, so I'm just going to keep on single crocheting all the way around, and that's going to be 18 stitches for round 4. On the last stitch of round 4, we're going to change back to the brown yarn. For rounds 5 through 8, we're going to single crochet in each stitch. So I've got a stitch marker for 5, 6, 7, and 8. Go ahead and place a single crochet in the first stitch so I can pop in a stitch marker. And do maybe a couple stitches and then tie off with this white yarn. So now I'm going to continue on single crocheting for the next 4 rounds, so rounds 5, 6, 7, and 8, and I will catch you back at the end of round 8. Here we are at the end of round 8. I'm going to pull out all 4 of these stitch markers. For round 9, we're going to decrease and then single crochet. So I'm going to do an invisible decrease, so that uses the front loops only. We're going to go through 2 front loops, pull up a loop, pull through 2, and that's going to be my invisible decrease. Pop in a stitch marker, and then 1 single crochet in the next stitch, and repeat. Invisible decrease, and then 1 single crochet in the next stitch. We'll end up with 12 stitches at the end of round 9. For round 10, we're going to single crochet in each stitch around, but it's going to be in the front loop only. So we're going to insert the hook into the front loop and single crochet. And continue all the way around, single crochet in the front loop, and that's going to be a total of 12 stitches for round 10. See how we've made his cute little head? Now he's got a little neck, and for round 11, we're going to increase again. So for round 11, we're going to increase in the first stitch. So that's 2 single crochet in the first stitch, pop in the stitch marker, and then 1 single crochet in the next stitch. Increase, and 1 single crochet in the next stitch, and we're going to repeat all the way around. We're going to end with a total of 18 stitches for round 11. Round 12, we're going to add his arms. So we're going to single crochet in the first 8 stitches. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then we're going to front loop only bobble stitch. To do that, we're going to yarn over, insert the hook in the front loop only, pull up a loop, pull through 2, and repeat. Yarn over, insert the hook, pull up a loop, pull through 2, and repeat until we have 6 loops on the hook. There are detailed instructions for this in the written pattern, so if you're not familiar, please look at those. And once we have 6 loops on our hooks, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we're going to yarn over and pull through all 6 of the loops. Then we're going to single crochet in the next 4 stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then we're going to do another front loop only bobble stitch. And then single crochet in the last 4 stitches of this round. We should still have a total of 18 stitches for round 12. So now we're going to pause so that we can add the face and the stuffing. So I'm just going to pull out a decent amount of yarn so that this won't come unraveled. And we'll start working on the safety eyes and the mouth. The safety eye placement is between rounds 6 and 7, so I'm going to count down between rounds 6 and 7 and pop in the safety eye, and then count 3 stitches in between the safety eyes. And as you can see, my eyes are a little off center, so I'm going to shift them over just a little bit, maybe like 1 stitch, but there's still going to be 3 stitches in between each eye. There we go, that's much better. See, the eyes are now centered in between the arms and 3 stitches in between. So now we can pop on the safety backs. And while we're on the topic of safety eyes, do you guys use a tool that pops the backs onto the eyes for you? I have such a hard time getting the backs on just using my fingers, and I need to buy a tool for this. So if you have any good suggestions for which tool to get for small projects like this, please link it down below for me so that I can buy one. Now that we've got our safety eyes in, we can add a cute little mouth using some white embroidery floss. I'm just going to use my yarn needle because I have it handy, but if you need to use a smaller needle, feel free. The placement that I'm using is going to be 1 stitch next to each eye. and then we'll pull that little loop down in just a second. So I'm going to do stitch straight across next to each eye. And then about a half stitch down, not quite a full stitch down, I'm going to come up through the bottom and loop around the stitch and go back in the same spot, making sure you catch a little bit of yarn so that it stays in that exact spot. You could also create this mouth just stitching in a letter V, which I also do on a lot of my projects. And so now we're just going to tie this yarn together on the inside, which can be a little tricky, but I wanted to get the arms in first before we started putting the face on so that we can make sure to get the face in the center. So just a simple double knot will do, and then I'm going to stuff this excess embroidery floss into the project. Now to add a bit of stuffing for the head. So I'm going to pick up this massive loop that I put in and just pull the yarn so we can get back to crocheting. For rounds 13 and 14, we're going to single crochet in each stitch around. So I will catch you back at the end of round 14. So here we are at the end of round 14. Now we're going to add in his legs. So for round 15, we're going to single crochet in the first 9 stitches. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And then we're going to add a front loop only bobble stitch. Single crochet in the next 5 stitches. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then do another front loop only bobble stitch. And then single crochet in the last 2 stitches, so we're still at a total of 18 stitches for round 15. And now he's got arms and legs. So I'm going to go ahead and add a bit more stuffing. And for round 16, we're going to decrease 9 times in a row. So that was a total of 9 stitches for round 16. And now we'll just want to add any final stuffing. So for round 17, we're going to place 1 single crochet in the first stitch. And I'm not going to use a stitch marker because it's getting so small. And then decrease 4 times. And chain 1 and tie off with a long enough tail to weave in the end. Using a yarn needle, we're going to close up any remaining hole left at the bottom. So we want to go in the direction that we were crocheting and just weave this needle through each stitch and pull it tight. Once the hole is nice and closed up, we're going to stick the yarn needle through the very center and up through the back of the project so that we can pull it tight and make the bottom nice and clean, and then snip off any of the excess yarn. And here we have our finished gingerbread man. Now I'm going to use some red yarn to add a cute little bow tie around his neck. So we're just going to tie a simple bow like we're tying a shoe. making sure we get it centered right underneath the mouth, and then pull it in tighter to be a tiny little bow. And then we'll snip off any of the excess yarn. And how cute is our tiny little gingerbread man? So these work well as decor, little toys for kids, photo props, or if you wanted to turn it into an ornament or keychain, you could easily add that to the top, or if you wanted to just simply use yarn to do so, this would be how to do it. So I'm going to use the brown yarn that we did for the gingerbread man, but you could use any color of your choice. And I'm just going to place a slip knot on the hook. I'm going to insert the hook on the back side of round 1 and slip stitch. And then chain 40 chain stitches. Once we've chained the 40 chain stitches, we're going to insert the hook back into that same space and slip stitch again. Chain 1 and then snip off the yarn. And then we will use a yarn needle to weave in these 2 ends. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I really appreciate it. And now we have a cute little gingerbread man Christmas ornament or bag charm. I've seen kids hang these on backpacks, like little backpack buddies, just by looping them through like so. I hope you enjoyed crocheting with me today. If you made it this far in the video, leave me a cookie emoji comment down below. Please tag me on social media with your gingerbread men. I would love to see how they turned out. I'll see you very soon with a new project. Happy crocheting!